Good morning or evening, everyone. Today we will be learning about the having clause in SQL. First, before we start, what exactly is the having clause in SQL? The having clause in SQL is used to filter the results of a query based on a condition that involves an aggregate function. It is used in conjunction with the group by clause, which groups the result set by one or more columns. The having clause is similar to the where clause in that it allows you to specify conditions that filter the result set. However, the difference is that the having clause applies to groups of rows, while the where clause applies to individual rows. Here's the syntax for the having clause. In this syntax, the select statement specifies the columns to be returned, including any aggregate functions that are used. The group by clause groups the result set by one or more columns, and the having clause filters the groups based on a condition. The condition in the having clause can include any valid expression that evaluates to a Boolean value. This condition can include aggregate functions such as count, sum, average, maximum, and minimum, as well as comparison operators such as equal, greater than, greater than equal, and less than equal. The having clause is used to filter the results of a query based on an aggregate function condition. For example, you might use the having clause to locate more than 10 customers who reside in the country of Germany. In this example, the group by clause groups the orders by country, and the having clause filters the groups to only those with more than 10 residents. In summary, the having clause is used to filter the result set based on a condition that involves an aggregate function. It is used in conjunction with the group by clause and can be used to filter groups of rows based on their aggregated values. Use the having clause when you need to filter the result set based on aggregate values, rather than individual row values. In the same syntax, you may also utilize the where clause. The where clause is used to filter rows of data before the group by clause is applied. It operates on individual rows of data and eliminates rows that do not meet the specified conditions. The where clause is used to select rows of data before applying the group by clause. It acts on individual rows of data, removing those that do not satisfy the set criteria. When you use both the where and having clauses in a single query, the where clause is used to filter the rows of data before they are grouped, and the having clause is used to filter the grouped data after the grouping has occurred. The conditions specified in the where clause are applied to the individual rows of data, while the conditions specified in the having clause is applied to the groups of data. The where clause should generally be placed before the group by clause in a SQL query because it allows you to filter the rows of data that are included in the groupings. When you use the group by clause, you are essentially grouping the rows of data based on the values in one or more columns. The result is a set of summary rows, where each row represents a unique combination of the grouped columns and displays a summary value, such as the count or average, for the remaining columns. If you place the where clause after the group by clause, you would be filtering the result set after the grouping has already occurred. This means that some of the rows that were included in the groupings may be filtered out, potentially affecting the summary values in the result set. On the other hand, placing the where clause before the group by clause allows you to filter the rows of data before they are grouped. This ensures that only the relevant rows are included in the groupings, and the summary values are calculated based on the filtered data. In short, placing the where clause before the group by clause helps to ensure the accuracy of the summary values in the result set.
What's the difference between the having clause and the where clause? Let us state the similarities between the two first. Both clauses filters data, but the type of data they filter differs. In having, it filters group data, while in where clause filters individual rows or data. Both clauses uses operators such as greater than or equal, less than or equal, etc. The group by function. In having clause, the group by function always comes first before the having clause, because the having clause will be based on the indicated group by, or the command would result in syntax error. While in the other hand, group by comes after the where clause, because it filters out the individual rows before giving the filtered out records to be categorized by the group by function. Last but not the least, the aggregate function. Only the having clause could use the aggregate function in given condition.